specific?
Press
Sir, madam, thank you for the very detailed information. It's good learning from the way you are told us. One of the challenge in the region we grow is basically a lot of humidity, and that makes the soil composition and watering becomes very unique. So do you have any ideas, inputs on how to really manage a little more humidity, because we get a lot of fungus in other areas if you water the plants more? And typically what we see gardeners doing that in the backyard, they put a lot of water the plants, and they don't get right kind of harvest, or the plants die actually.
Like what is the rainfall, like how much rain you will get, and because of the rainfall, is it excess rain?
Yeah, it's excess rain plus the weather itself has a lot of humidity on the air actually. So given day, a lot of humidity in the temperature within the zones here, the zone 7 to zone 8 and 9, in a lot of humidity actually.
In the high humid areas, maybe Indian rosella will come up very well, and sour spinach will come up. Amaranthus will come up very well. Spinach and coriander is a little tough task.
Yeah.
So,
and then,
so you mean to say we should plant according to the climate? That's what you are saying. Okay.
Yeah. So one of our experiences basically, what we try to tell. I mean, we do a lot of gardening in our. I think she knows. What we tell the gardener is basically, try to use the drip irrigation system or water very limited, because if you have too much water done with the humidity, then you attract a lot of bugs to your plants, and then you have to spray a lot of chemicals to your vegetable. So the watering is a key thing. We try to guide the gardeners to reduce this kind of impact because of humidity actually.
less moisture is required, not irrigation. That's what we have to understand about the vegetables. If it is any excess moisture leads to it invites the fungal or the pest. Because for example, any of the vegetable part, if it is touching the soil, it means pest has come. So always try to give less minimum irrigation. So that is one aspect which we need to manage. And then cover with the mulching. So mulching always, they don't allow the fruit on the soil. If it is a fruit touching on the soil, then pest will come.
Yeah. So I think that's correct one. I have a second question for you. Basically, as you're talking about ginger and turmeric, we in our zone basically, and ginger has about 10 to 12 months of the overall,
9 months.
Yeah, the cycle, right? In the challenge, what we have is basically our zone only have 6 to 8 months of, the good weather, which is temperature above, in Fahrenheit is about, 60 to 80 degrees or 100 degrees, right? But that's reason what we are forced to start the ginger and turmeric in early winter actually. We start in November and that time to meet the 12 months timeline, and we start that indoor mostly. And typically what happens in indoor, the temperature is not constant, or it is not really 60 above, which is typically the germination time required for the turmeric. So we struggle through the growing that because of the managing that first 3 months of the growth to the plant. So there is anything you think we should do differently when we do ginger and turmeric, for first 3 to 4 months, where actually the root is really taking time to build its initial growth and, trying to, come up itself, right? So that time the plant doesn't have the good weather, and it really have fluctuating weather. So we see a less of the harvest. So I thought I'll ask that question to you. Do you think anything more we do differently than growing that indoor? We grow more 60 Fahrenheit degrees or 70 degrees Fahrenheit, less than that. But it's always that cold weather makes the initial growth very slow. And then I've seen that that really impacts the final growth in the harvest, what we get outcome at October next year, because it's not too much turmeric or ginger we get because of the initial impact on the plant actually.
Also, both of them, they like to be in the soil in the hard time. Okay. So, for example, end of the May second week onwards in India, like in the very hard, they will plant those things. So try to give more hard times, try to put on the soil. And also when you are putting in the soil, on the top, put some legumes. So legumes will be a boosting for the rhizome to come out.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
And then legume combination you can try.
All right.
So you think the frost will not affect it, ma'am? Like legumes, we are going to put the rhizomes, right? So if we have a frost or something, that should be fine. Like cold.
మీ ప్రశ్న నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు. వాయిస్
రైజోమ్ ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ పెట్టి లెగ్యూమ్స్ వేయమన్నారు కదా. ఇప్పుడు మనకి బాగా ఫ్రీజింగ్ టెంపరేచర్ అయిందండి. It should be fine, right? With the mulching and everything. That is the chance we are taking, I guess.
When you have a summer season, try to plant rhizomes in the summer season.
Then the season will be done, right? For us, we just have like 8 months summer.
Okay. Like if you start in the month of March, for example, I don't know when the temperatures will be up. So that time if you can plant, it will be until if you get the December, it will be around 6 months time. So that is a growth period, no? When they are in the growth period, they need sun. So that time rhizome start germination and increase the fingers will come. So like when from December onwards, it will be in the soil. Nothing will happen. They will be frozen. Only wooden carbon mulching is required on the top.
Just a quick thing. Great session, Mr. and Mrs. Koppula. This is Ragvi. Fantastic information. I hope you guys don't mind me giving some information on the growing ginger and turmeric. So I live in New Jersey, which is like a fully snow-filled place. What we can do is we can actually start it indoors, and container gardening would be the best choice for us people with less growing season, right? So I generally grow turmeric and ginger in huge containers, in huge pots. So that way, we have a kickstart of the growth, and you can move it outside when the weather gets better. I was able to harvest turmeric and ginger with this process, trying to grow indoors inside the house, that's all. And turmeric generally takes a bit of more time to sprout up. So you can actually put the turmeric root, right? So maybe in January or even in December, start it a little bit earlier so that the leaves start coming up, and then we should be good to go. I was able to harvest quite a bit of turmeric last year, so a bit of information over there. And Suresh Garu, you asked about the humidity, right? With the humidity, the only thing what I figured out was Jersey actually hits with bad humidity during the peak summer times. So what we do is try to make sure the airflow is there. If the plants have too many leaves, right, try to chop off a couple of leaves so that you have airflow. Airflow is the main issue with the humidity, where if the plant does not have direct sun, and if the airflow would be the main key. How much ever you can prune it down, and if you have any specific plant which is going through the humidity issue, and just let me know, maybe I can do more input.
Maybe according to your season, Yes, you said the germination will come little when the temperature, like once you put the rhizome in the soil, it will take 1 month to 45 days to come out. So
Yes.
that time, maybe if you are planting in the winter, when the temperature started increasing, then you can see the plant. Maybe you are right. Maybe November, December is right time for you.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, right, we have to start
Of
bunch
course,
of
you know
things
better
indoors.
than me because your situation is different.
Just for the
Yes.
weather-wise. Yeah. One
Yeah.
question, Mrs. Koppula Garu. So for the soil health, right? Like, we do home composting and all. I heard you saying about the natural farming. Like, do you guys do any Korean farming by any chance, or like, anything other than like, doing the home compost, manures, like, getting manures from the farms? Are there anything other things what you guys suggest the farmers?
If you want, like some of things, like once you add the compost also, when they are in the flowering and fruiting stage, you need to give the top ups. The top ups can be if you have a yogurt at your home. So instead of like once it is become old, generally we throw in the sink or something. Instead of wasting the yogurt, you can add the jaggery in it in the bottle. You can keep for 1 week or 10 days, then dilute with water, give it to the plants. It's also lactic acid, so they will be very good because we are incorporating microbes in the soil. That is
Yes.
one aspect I can recommend. And the second one is whatever the kitchen waste, except lemon and onion, rest of the things you can put it into the water and then mix with the jaggery and then close it for 1 week, 10 days, and then the same thing also you can give to the plants.
Okay, like a compost tea, right? Like, more like a compost tea, but you'll have more enzymes and good bacteria formed due to the jaggery.
Actually, jaggery, if you add, what happens is initial stages, it will be gases will be released, and later on it will take like if you just ate at it, it can keep for 3 months, nothing will go bad. Then after 3 months also, it can be a culture, little bit of culture you can keep. First time it will take 3 months time. Then same thing, the culture if you have a little bit of one bottle or something. Next time when you are making every week, you can make and you can use for your plants.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. One more question. I hope I'm not taking up all the time. So garlic, right? So I grow garlic here, and someone in our community they have asked this question, like, in Jersey, what we do is we actually put the garlic into the ground in November. So it has to go through the snow period. The snow will fall, and then like the leaves will come out, and then it will grow properly. So I was saying like, okay, garlic, it has to go through the snow season, and then like, we can get the real true clothes out of it. And somebody questioned me saying like, okay, if that is the case, like in India, in South India especially, we don't have any snow, like, how is garlic being grown over there? So garlic, do we have to have any cold frame period to grow it by any chance?
Actually, garlic grow in the winter season. So
Oh, okay.
November to February.
Okay,
In
in India.
Telangana area, other
Okay.
areas we cannot even grow in coastal areas. High humidity areas, like it's like that cold is required. Only in winter season.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Tell us a little about the pest management and rodents, deers, and squirrels. How do we live in harmony with them and grow what we want to grow?
Always, that's like we have to manage with the host plants, repellent plants. These two, these two things we have to manage. Squirrels and other things like if they don't have food, they will come. You have to make the release jali mesh type of things.
Okay. So like in the beds, like earlier you showed the urban rooftop, right, with all the beds, like 4 by 8 something. So that is how normally everybody has here in the backyard. So how do you suggest, like, how do we plant? How do we arrange, like, to save the plant from the rodents and squirrels and other pests?
Like chicken mesh, we can use if it is available in the 4 sticks. We can chicken mesh
Under the bed you put it, or how do you put it?
on the top.
Oh,
Chicken mesh, even for the greens, we can cover everything. For like okra and other things, we need to grow with the green. Green net we can use.
Yeah. I think there are. Sorry, Amma. I think the rodents problem will be there, but the rodents cannot stop anything unless if you have very plan to have some in the ground. You have to fix the mesh about the 1.5 feet deep. But though there is a problem of rodents, but why they attract the rodents, you have to identify, you have to notice the issue, the problem. I think they're supposed to, because the food availability is there. I think you are applying all nutrition there. They also need nutrition. They will come, but the menace, if you think it is the threshold level, I think 1 or 2 okay, but just why it is attracting, just you have to be planted on the boundary instead of in the center. I think the squirrels, I think in US, I don't know, many places I have found it, but their food, what is the food that they eat, you have to identify where you want to place them. I think placing is one of the very, very important. It's only instead of destroying and damaging entire the place where you are growing some vegetables, some crop, instead of that, you can put it on the boundary, and the number also you can see how much the time and when they are coming, which stage is a ripening stage, or in the just burrowing the holes, making holes and damaging. I think these are little more information is required, but in our area it will come, but there is a chain. The food chain already started. The frogs will come, the snakes are there, the rats for the snake will come. The chain almost all developed in our farms. But I think you have to understand the whole cycle of how these rodents will enter, which is the time, and how you manage them, what plant they attract. These are all little more. Birds you cannot. Birds are you invite, but the damage will be 2 to 3%. You have to bear with it. I think everything, if you want it, there is a problem starts. I think somewhere we have to be more. We are all generous. I know that, but we want good nutrition food. I think the nutrition food for others also very important, but only the threshold level, what percentage you doesn't want to give. So that will the key in entire your growing anything.
And also
Yes.
for the birds, you can incorporate some sunflower seeds. So all the birds will come and eat the seeds, and they don't touch the greens and other things. So like for them also we can provide the food. Yes, sir. Something you're asking.
Yeah, Suresh Garu, you wanted to say something?
No. I just wanted to add, because I think, the managing squirrel is multiple areas. As you said, one we do in our zone, which, I live in Raleigh, and we have a large group of about 6,000 plus gardeners. And we really do a lot of help to our gardeners to help growing the vegetable. Tomorrow is my seed exchange program, as ma'am was talking about exchanging the seeds. We invite close to 6,000 people in our community to share the seeds, because everybody has different varieties. We grow largely turmeric and ginger in our region. I don't buy turmeric and ginger, any of my vegetables in that season. So how do we manage squirrels is basically twofold. One, we put the chicken mesh around it. And then we create a separate area where we give a food to the squirrels. Like you said, some of the seeds, sunflower seeds are very, very good for them. Sometimes even we feed them peanuts and other food. So after a few years, now they're waiting for those kind of food, which we're feeding them. Then they're going into our gardens actually. Okay. So the short answer is mesh is the one. And then second one, give the food what they're looking for in the area away from your garden beds. And that's how we're seeing that they're not disturbing our gardens much actually. So I want to share that with most of our gardeners, because that's something we have seen very successfully done in our region actually.
That's a very nice point, Suresh Garu.
Very nice. Yeah.
So a person from Florida is asking that they have a huge problem with iguanas, it seems. How do we solve this issue in our garden? They're asking.
I think your voice is something is not so clear.
So a person from Florida is asking, like they have a huge problem with iguanas.
Iguanas, yeah. Is it a kind of lizard? I can read that. Yeah. Yeah, the same it applies, it applies to the same answer when we understood, because not in an Indian base, that's most of the, in your US, that is which climate you have. I think the climatical differences make them to more number appearance will happen, which year, which month, when they wanted the food cycles are there. I think you identified them. I think they are more for the coming for fruits or leaves or insects. I think that is a very interesting observation. If you do that, definitely you will find some solution. Okay, again, I am coming to the same question and answer as well. I think in permaculture, we don't look for the every time solution. We don't look for problem also, but problem is a solution. So unless if you don't have a problem, how you encounter is, instead of encountering, how to understand the cyclic, the management, and at the same time, how much you are ready to give back to also the life which is living there around it. Otherwise, we cannot expect every 100% for us. I think this is an integral part of holistic approach, and integrated approach is very, very important. But the only when we come to the crop, we think holistically, but when you come to the vegetables, we don't want. I think that is because it's scarce, because it's a very, very, you're putting a lot of efforts, a lot of energy, a lot of money, everything you are putting, you don't want to lose anything. I think that is where some thing we have to think. Otherwise, I think if you able to mentally get prepared to do that, I think you are the best gardener in the world. That much I can tell you.
One more question from Florida. They have, I hope my voice is clear. They have like very sandy soils with very less organic matter. So a person starting a fresh garden in a sandy soil, like very, very loose sandy soil, they want to establish a garden. So what is their best approach economically, both economically and fastest way to establish a garden?
Yeah. Frankly speaking, I think I'll speak like a permaculturist. I think is the economically, before that economically, I think if you want to make it viable, you have to be ecologically, you have to viable first. So that is the first step in permaculture. We look for the ecological, then the economical. If you go with the economical, you will never win the game, because that is where our already soils, your question itself, your answer is already there, because the sandy soil, it doesn't have any much organic matter, or there is no material medium to hold the water or moisture. I think that is totally 90 to 95% is a drain out. There is no holding medium in the soil. They are called is the carbon poor soils. So carbon rich, if you want to make it, I think you have to continuously you put effort to incorporate and add to the lot of materials to the whatever your kitchen, whatever your home will generate. You make a compost or semi-decomposed or totally decomposed matter. You have to keep increasing that, keep putting and giving back to the garden. I think that is the one of the very, very important in this soil. Other soils are, it will have some medium to hold the root zone. Here there is no much scope to do that. You have to look at the soil, and at the same time the water. The water and soil and light, the three issues are very, very important, because it generates a lot of heat. Drainage is 100%, and the soil itself is minerals. So what crops like minerals, I think you encourage those kind of things over a period of time. You have to start growing other crops. Don't look for all crops in sandy soil. That's what I want to say.
So suppose
melons and root crops are very welcome, and tomato and other things, because once you have a sandy soils, you have a different layers of mulch material. Then it's like holding moisture will be happening, and then nutrition will also reach to the plant.
Sir, the turmeric ginger also works with sandy soil, right? If you add little more nutrition into it, so the root anyway doesn't like too much sandy soil, right?
No, they don't like sandy soils at all, because it want to struggle. It want to hard soil to break. So not that lazy crop as a rhizome. Any rhizome, they will try to hard work with the soil. The growth will happen. If it's a loose, go lazy.
Perfect. Very good. And other inputs to the lot of people who are looking for organic material in our zone, sir, we get a lot of cow manure, and we use cow manure very actively in our garden. So do you have any inputs on how a lot of gardeners ask the question, hey, can we put a cow manure into the vegetables? So do you have any recommendation how they can really utilize the cow manure?
Cow manure we can use if you have fresh cow dung is available. You can mix in the soil, mix in the water, keep it for 48 hours. And if you want more so liquid manure, you can give. You can add any of the like cow dung, cow urine, and then little bit of jaggery, and then any of the pulses powder, chickpea dal or moong dal, any of the powder. If you can add and ferment it for 48 days and then give it to the any of the vegetable plants, it will be like it will kick up.
Yeah, having cow manure itself is a rich, no doubt about it. Those who don't have a cow manure also, you can make a compost, but cow manure, what form you want to give it, you have to decide. Whether it's a fresh, semi-decomposed or fully. I think how many days you are in urgency of giving back to the soil or you put for the boosting your plant and your yield. I think you have to, different forms are there. You mix with the water, you make it a slurry kind of thing and not thick, very thin, otherwise it will form a crust. The crust will not allow water to go and aeration problem will happen. Just you immediately, if you want a quick start, you can give the slurry as a thin slurry, or otherwise you just add some organic matter to it. You can give as a semi-decomposed, and totally decomposed, you have to perfect compost, it need to be required. Yeah.
So in our region, sir, typically everybody gets a composted cow manure. So it's available in the store. So typically don't get the fresh cow dung for. That's why I wanted to ask people so that they know the right answer from you. That's the reason I asked the question, because they don't get a fresh cow dung anywhere here. Mostly everybody gets the composted cow manure available in the bag actually.
Yeah, that's good. But again, the compost, what their composition of that also very important is always your compost should be lighter. Lighter is the more genuine one. If you add any high one, there's a more soil, block soil, not the compost in that. I think the living soil or just color in black and lighter is always best soil, best compost. You have to see that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So we have a question from Sandhya. Last growing season, we faced severe broad mite problem. How can we treat it naturally? What is the broad mite? Sandhya, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, last year it's growing season, like we faced with eggplants, okra, tomatoes and peppers. There were like mites problem. All the leaves were curling and the fresh notes of the leaves have been burnt leaves. They are not growing properly, and all the vegetables which they come also, they are like brown color. And when I see it with the app, it said that it's a broad mite, which is a microscopic mites. And there was no proper natural treatments there. And the chemical one is also too expensive, like 32 OZ itself was costing $150.
Yeah, thank you, Amma. Sandhya Garu. I think even the cheap also don't use the chemicals. And this is my suggestion. Even the costly.
Yeah, I don't want to use chemicals.
No. If it's they'll make it cheap also tomorrow. I think anyway. So the problem is there are two ways. I think in permaculture there is a problem solution I cannot give, but you have to again same answer I'm giving. What is the brinjal actually? What is the brinjal? Why the mites are there under the curling? Why the leaves are curled and some brownish spots on the thing? I think is the deficiencies. I'm not going to give it to the deficiencies of your boron, zinc, sulfur, guide, that kind of thing. I'm going to give the soil fertility is the one of the issue, and the weather and the time and the seed. These four things you have to check before the problem when you are seeing on the plant. I think the diversity as well. The four issues is the one is the seed, one is the soil and your diversity and the time. These four things makes more sensible to think. I think if it is a problem is there, I think problem will be there, but all plants or is a mixed polycultural plants it happened, or monocultural plants is a one separate plot in eggplant happened. I think just you can think, if it is there, I think they have to be take out the leaves, new leaves may come. I think you have to prune them. Let us see if the second time also it comes something wrong with the something else. I don't know exactly, but there is no ready-made answer for such things. You are the best judge to analyze, examine and analysis. So that you can do that. I think there's a seed, maybe that is a problem with the weak seed, or some contamination happened and the soil borne, some root wilt may be possible, or how much water you are giving. These are all matters. I think not just one problem. I cannot say thing, but you can come back and just see and observe. I think there is a solution, pruning or just take out the leaves. You see, if anything, then over a period of time, slowly the predators will start growing there itself, because they need food. The ladybug may come and slowly they will feed on them. That will control, but it needs some space, some time. So that is for our to understand the entire cycle of the problem issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
One quick thing. Sorry, I didn't get your name, Andeep. The earlier member who asked the question. So we have seen this issue with the leaf curling, right? It might be what you said, it might be that, but just check with your neighborhood. If any of your neighbors are spraying lawn pesticides, lawn chemicals, right? So that can actually travel to couple of, few hundred feet, 1,000 feet, it seems. So if they are spraying something like that, that could actually impact your plants also. In my garden, everything is organic, but in my neighborhood, it's not the case. So, there are chances, that might be an issue also.
No, I think this is some myths are around these. Somebody is doing organic and somebody is a chemical farmer that will travel to here. First of all, their life cycles are very short. They don't travel, except some caterpillars very neighboring. If the food is not available, the life cycle is important. How many days? Hardly most of them 35 days, 28 days life cycles. All four the cycles has to be completed. Meanwhile, the larva stage only they eat most of the plants. I think that you have to try to understand. I think somebody is using neighbor is a chemical farmer. I think there will be some effect, but not the direct effect. I don't think so. It is not that thing which somebody is growing inorganically, that all entire pest will come into your farm. Is I don't think so. It is not happened. But
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. Like, I didn't mean the pest will come from their farm. What I heard was like the spray itself, right? So like, when they spray the chemicals, the spray can actually travel, the chemicals itself, they can actually travel to a couple of feet, it seems. So because of the high intensity with the lawns, right? So like, we put like heavy chemicals for killing all the weeds in the lawn. So maybe that might be an issue. Like that's one of the cause also what I heard with the leaf curling. That might be an issue. Yeah. Yeah. With pest, like, yeah, I understand.
Maybe. Yeah, that is one of the reason. We have to just little more, we have to be observed and then come to one conclusion, what is the exact problem. But just we can observe that also. Lawns, I think they are using a lot of chemicals. But again, that is the issue of what kind of chemicals they are using also. Is the most of the water contaminated, or the air pollution, or just is directly coming to your lawns, I think your garden.
And also you can try to like spray just water and try to spray soil mixing and soil water. Because if it is best soil, if you can collect and keep it somewhere else, so soak the soil for some time, mix in the water, spray it, and then buttermilk. These things you can just try.
The vinegar and the molasses also.
If there is anything like that, try to do that.
Yeah.
So
I think most of the sprays, most of the vegetables are very safe to use. Natural one is your molasses. If it possible, it's available in the market, you can try. Otherwise, the vinegar you're regularly in your place, you might be using it. I think you dilute with the 1:10 or 8. See any results are there, you can use it. But I never suggest any application, even botanically or chemically. But because you are from different climate, urban gardeners. Okay. I think you have to follow certain things. Let us see. But any application I don't advocate. But this time I'm with conviction. I'm telling that you try with that. I think.
We are past our time. You've been very, very generous with your time, sir. Narsanna Garu and Padmavathi Garu. We hope that you share the slide with us, the slideshow with us. I will post it for everybody's benefit. And again, tons and tons of time. Thank you for coming and sharing, investing your time in sharing your knowledge with us. I hope to interact more and more with you all and all of us. And I also hope that all will take up this thing of gardening or farming naturally and let's take food security to another level. Any more questions, guys? Let's take it offline. And we also had with us Suresh Garu from, he works with like 5,000 gardeners in the southeast of the US. He helps with setting up the gardens and everything. He was the one who was talking about the local, how we do it locally and all. And thank you, Raghavi, for the information, and everyone else who ever attended. Let's all try and follow whatever has been told to us. Thank you again. Call it off.
Thank you very much, sir and madam. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you,
sir.
Suresh
Thank
Garu.
you.
Just a quick question. Sorry. If
please.
we have to contact you, sir, Mr. and Mrs. Koppula Garu, if we have to contact you, like, how can we contact you directly? Like, I mean, what mode of communication you would prefer?
WhatsApp is a better, ma.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you. Yeah, we come from a farming background and our families are leaving farming just because they're not able to do the farming properly. So we want them to come back to the farming. I want to see, like, if there is a way for you guys to take a session with them, enhance with your knowledge and, like, try to get back them into the farming. And
Yes.
You're welcome, Amma. You're welcome. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
thank you so much. Thanks, Vidya.
We all, like, that farmers, they work in the sun, they work in the rain. If they get an order to pick produce, like in the middle of the rain, they go in the farm and they take the produce. It takes them 1 hour, 2 hours to produce. And we in the store, we are bargaining like for like what, 10 cents, 20 cents. Let's not do that. Let's respect their sweat, especially because they're giving us the food. And again, thank you everybody for attending this session. Thank you, Narsanna Garu, again. And Padma.
Thank you, Amma. Vidya Garu, namaskaram. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you. Thank you, Vidya Garu. Bye.